Are you ready to invite some hedonistic living into your life? We're going to talk about 4 ways to add some hedonism to your day-to-day. And why would you even want to do that? Well, hedonism, which is really that pleasure seeking, like those hedonistic people that just seek pleasure in everything that they do. That is a component of having wealth. It actually invites wealth, money, cash, jewels, all those kinds of things into your life when you're willing to have a more hedonistic living. So let's play with these 4 different things that you can choose. So number 1 is just start with looking at everything in your life and asking, what would make this hedonistic? Okay. So for example, I was just making a normal cup of coffee this morning and I asked the question, what would make this like really hedonistic? And then I recalled I have a bit of like whipped cream. I could put that in there. Maybe I would like drizzle some caramel kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? Just for a cup of coffee, like a normal average cup of coffee. How could I make that hedonistic? So it can be in the food that you eat. It could be in the clothes that you wear. Just start by asking that question. What would make this hedonistic for me? That's that pleasure seeking. And when you ask that question, you're inviting new awarenesses and you'll start to look at things differently if you're asking it all the time. What would make this hedonistic? What would make this hedonistic for me? Adding more and more pleasure to your life. So number 2, involve all of your senses. Okay. So when you're looking at adding more hedonism to your life, what smells really invoke that like pleasure for you? I actually have like this lotion that I use and I smell myself all the time because I love it. It like increases my pleasure so much. What tastes are really like pleasure inducing for you, and really like let yourself lean into it, let it melt into your mouth, be with that pleasure. Are you willing to let yourself have so much pleasure? Touch, what clothing is like really that like sensory pleasure stimulation for you? Sight, what looks aesthetically beautiful for you that just pleases you just to see it that way. So involve all the senses in your hedonistic adventures, and you will notice the hedonism in your life growing and growing. Number 3, in the details. It's in the details. So I'm not a super detailed oriented person. But when I'm willing to just take a moment and look at that first question, what would make this hedonistic? Often it's those details that add that extra pleasure, like make a quick cup of coffee, or is it the mug it's in that just has that pleasure inducing feel to it? Is it like taking the moment and just smelling the detail of the senses of smell? Those little details can really exponentialize the pleasure in your life, especially if you're willing to just go that little extra moment. That I was going to say mile, but it's not really even that, like that extra moment to gift yourself the pleasure of whatever you're choosing in that day. And here's the last one, and this one I love so much. I hope you really look at this, is would you actually be willing to seduce yourself with hedonism? So I don't know if you've ever been like, maybe you're with a new partner, or maybe it's like an anniversary or something, and you really want to seduce someone. What would you create for them? Like the whole picture, not just like what would you do in the bedroom, but what does the whole thing, like what would you wear? What would you want them to wear if they were seducing you? You're essentially looking to seduce yourself, and that's inviting in that hedonistic, pleasure seeking energy and creations into your life. So if you were seducing yourself right now, Like, what would the lighting be like? How would you create the atmosphere if you were going to seduce yourself? And no one knows how to seduce you better than you do, because you know yourself inside out. What music would you play? What meal would you prepare? What type of glasses would you have out? How would you seduce yourself? And you don't have to like go every night to an extreme, but if you just start to add these little things, maybe it's like, oh, it's Sunday night or Friday night, and you're like, okay, I just need a bath. Do you just run the water and jump into the bath? Or do you actually like get out the candles? Maybe put some like rose petals in the bathtub and some beautiful scents. Maybe you're going to play some music or something that's really pleasurable for you. Are you willing to take those few moments to add a few details that actually increase the pleasure in your life, that hedonistic living that will attract more wealth, but also just that joy of living? Because we have these incredible senses and we have the ability to experience and receive such great pleasure. For what reason are we not enjoying that way more? I hope this video contributed to you. I hope you got some fun ideas about how you can add more hedonistic living to your life. Please leave a comment below. Let me know how this landed for you. What was your biggest takeaway? And if you like this video, please subscribe and share it with a friend, because it really supports the channel and really supports my creations getting to the world. So I'm so grateful. Have a beautiful hedonistic day.